And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, today we're taking a look at Habitats. This is from Quali. Now Quali makes usually one game a year, and they make games that are not huge, but they always try to make games that I think have a cool theme. Sometimes they have really cool bits. For example, this one has this little cute zebra in it, or maybe your copy doesn't. We'll see. But this is a tile-laying game in which you are building a zoo, which is a theme that I'm a big fan of. I know that there are already games about zoos, but honestly, they can make like 3 games about zoos a year, and I think people would like that. I mean, making the zoo sim and things like that are very popular. People like to go to zoos. Anyhow, let's take a look at it. Okay, so you're going to have a grid of tiles out here on the board. Each person is going to get an animal. Now, these animals are little glass animals, and actually, as far as I can tell, you're going to get a random number of different animals in each person's box. And so they're little cute animals. Just don't drop them, okay? Each animal matches your color. So the penguin is black and the alligator is green. And you're going to have these set up in the park. So this is set up here for a 4-player game. And there's going to be a certain number of turns in over 3 years. The game takes place over 3 years. The number of turns is based on number of players. And then you're also going to have some bonus things here that players are going to score at the end of these 3 years. Now, on your turn, what a player does is you get a new tile. So you're going to pick a tile that's next to your animal or straight ahead of your animal. So if the penguin takes this tile, for example, the penguin would move here. And then you would place a new tile from where the penguin came. Now you can see next time the penguin has 2 tiles to choose from. If the alligator came here and placed a tile, then next time maybe the alligator goes here. And so if the penguin maybe wanted to take a tile, the penguin can take this tile, or the penguin can jump over the alligator and take that tile. So you can always take the one in front of you or to one or both sides. And again, there are possible ways to get stuck, and the game is a way to get out of those. But for the most part, you can, if animals really can't block you from getting a tile. So when you get these tiles, you're going to be placing them in your park. Now your park here has an entranceway with a road that comes out behind it, so you can never build any tiles directly behind it. Other than that, though, you can put a tile in your park. Now when I put a tile in my park here, so let's say I put this tile here, this lizard is going to be worth 4 points at the end of the game if he has the terrain types that I need. Now right now, he has, you can see I need some forests and I need desert spots. He doesn't have those. So when I first put him in here, I'll put him upside down. He needs 2 forests and 2 desert. So let's say I put this here next to him, the sand lizard. The sand lizard needs 1 grassland, 2 deserts, and a water. So he's also not there. And let's say now I put this here. He needs to be next to water, but here's the deal. He needs to be next to 2 forests. Well, these forests are connected, so that counts. So he's next to the 2 forests. If later on I connected him to some, like this butterfly here and this access road here, now he's connected to 2 deserts also, so I'd flip him up. This guy here is now connected to 2 deserts, and if I put this water here, he's connected to water, and then maybe put this grassland here, then he also is going to be worth points. So that's how animals are going to score points. And it's possible as you place them that they may, once you place it, you may do multiples. You know, I might place a water tile here, and this water tile flips him over, and he needs to be next to 2 forests or jungles. I already have those, and if there had already been a desert here, the turtle would have flipped when I placed him. So there's all sorts of things that you can do. So that's how animals are going to score over the game. At the end of the game, you're going to get points for every animal that meets its requirement. Some animals, like this butterfly here, needs 3 flowers out there. And speaking of that, flowers are going to be out on the board. Flowers are going to score you just straight points. But maybe you want to have different flowers as time goes by, and different animals may require flowers to get you more points. Access roads will give you points, except access roads have roads that go outside your area, so you can never put a tile next to those roads. But as long as you have the other 2 tiles, anything next to them, you'll score the point. So this one gives you 3. This is 1 access road, so as long as you have these other 3 covered up, it will score you 4 points. You'll have tourists who show up in your area, and they're going to give you points for, like, for example, this one here gives you 1 point for every lake area you have. Or they might give you for one big area, you'll get 1 point for each dry land, or that's what I call the deserts. And so players, I mean, there's all sorts of different tiles in this game. Most of them are animals and flowers. A few are towers. These towers will look in a certain direction, and they'll give you, this one gives you 1 point for every animal and flower in that direction from this tower. And other tower, this one here, for example, goes diagonally. And this one here goes to the ones, all the tiles next to it. Animals are worth 2 points and flowers are 1. So at the end of the game, players are going to score for those. During the game, at the end of each of the different years, they're going to score depending on what these 3 goal tiles are. And there's a lot of different goal tiles that are included with the game. So floral diversity might be, or having the most different flowers will score you points. Or having your park having as tiles as close to your entrance as possible. Or the biggest area. Or having a compact park. Or having the most landscape types. And so these are going to be different, and the order they're going to be in, you see the one for year 1, 2, and 3, the one in year 3 is going to score more points. So at the end of year 3, any points you've scored because of these goals will be added on the scoreboard to points that you've gotten from your park, placed based on how you place your tiles, and whoever has the most points is the winner. Folks, very happy with this game. Really enjoyed it. It offers you a very simple choice. Do you want to go forward, or do you want to go to one of the sides? You have either 2 or 3, well, I guess sometimes 1, but usually 2 or 3 tiles to pick from. Those tiles that you pick from, then you have to decide where they go. Now that's more options as you place them in there, but you're trying to think, okay, I'm going to place this here because these are the requirements to get this animal, and at the same time I also need to place it in such a way that it fulfills the requirements of other animals. Hopefully they're fulfilling each other's requirements, which would be handy. Or maybe I'm collecting things because of the goal cards that are out there. Or maybe I'm trying to get more points for my tower that I built here, or for my tourist that's in the spot. So there really is a lot of different options and thoughts that you're thinking of as you're placing these tiles on the board. But at the same time, the game is not so intense that you're sitting there thinking, oh man, you know, I'm never going to get to all this stuff. I don't know what to do. I'm just kind of paralyzed by not analyzing the game here. No, that's not going to happen. It moves along quickly. Now you will find that people will take those tiles that you want, and that board expands. That rectangle board that you're moving around in expands and contracts whether you're playing 2 to 5, and it doesn't ever feel big enough. And you'll take a tile, and then someone else will take a tile, and they'll box you in. And you're like, why did they do that? And that was a tile I wanted, but they moved and got it first. And that's good. It gives us some good, meaty kind of interaction between the players that isn't really that mean, okay? You just go get the tiles you want. You usually won't take a tile because someone else wants it. And in fact, you're usually not really caring how they're building their zoo. The only way you really care what other people is them moving around in that thing. Once you get that tile, you're sitting and building your zoo. And I like the different options it has, those access roads. That's kind of cool because when I go to the zoo, there are access roads. And I like that idea that they're good, they're worth points, they're easy to do. But they kind of constrict how your zoo is put together. And the watchtowers are good, they give you points, but then they kind of force you to put tiles in a specific way. But most of the tiles are animals, and just trying to have different groups together. I will recommend that if you play this game, to read the rules and to also look at all the examples, because the rules, I missed a couple important rules my first time, because the rule book wasn't that strong on them, but the examples were more clarifying. And if I looked at the examples, I just kind of skipped over the examples, I wouldn't have missed those rules. But it is easy to play, it's easy to teach, the tiles are great. I mean, it doesn't look like a zoo because there's a big animal in the background, but you need to do that for ease of playing the game. And people are just going to like, ooh, look at my zoo, it's an elephant and a giraffe, and it has, a salamander and a caracal and a jacana and a ground squirrel. Oh, good, I can say that one. And a bumblebee. I like that idea. I like the flowers. I like just how everything fits together. When you're done, you can look at it and go, that's my zoo. And then the goals are going to change from game to game, giving you different things to go after. This is a nice medium weight game. I think it's got kind of a cool gateway game that people could play. Someone who's never played games before, they would enjoy this, but even if you have, it offers a lot of cool tactical decisions, which I think are really a lot of fun, and they fit the theme. The theme goes well with the game. Very highly recommended from me. That's Habitats. Dice Tower Judgment, excellent.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door.